Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm obviously bringing you the obvious, the court case update, but wait, before you go anywhere, I've got more information than that. We've got some other opinions from the Facebook and Twitter sphere. I've got information on a potential short squeeze being circulated on Monday, because we know that we've already seen some major HCMC action going on and the price is shorted as well. And then also I've got an article circulating on Reuters, the news agency, where scientists are questioning the problems with IQOS devices and why Philip Morris may want to just keep this straight to a settlement rather than going into a full court case once this motion to dismiss has been ruled upon. That is of course speculation, but let's get in there. If you could smash that like button on the way in, that'd be absolutely awesome. But let's get in there, let's take a look, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Hey guys, welcome into the video. So first and foremost, we're obviously going to talk about the court case update, and that is Philip Morris's response to HCMC and the motion to dismiss. Now obviously Philip Morris believes that they have the case to dismiss HCMC's patent infringement. However, I don't, and most other HCMC investors do not believe that to be the case. And when you actually have a look at what evidence Philip Morris is presenting here, it is pretty paper thin, to be fair. So we're just going to have a look through the legal documentation here that's available on Pace Monitor, and we're going to have a quick look through on the introduction. So the complaint should be dismissed because it is premised wholly on the implausible allegation that combustion occurs in IQOS devices. So basically, Philip Morris is sticking to its guns and saying that combustion does not occur in its IQOS devices, tantamount to the opposite, therefore it is not infringing on HCMC's patent. HCMC's opposition does not meaningfully address any of this, so that's basically what HCMC presented. They're saying that it does not address what they are saying here, and it hides behind the procedural posture of non-existent claim that construction dispute in an attempt to convince the court to let this case get to the discovery threshold. Now, that is an important allegation to make. They're stating that this case should end now, but really, I don't think deep down they think that they can actually get away with this, because we know and we saw in previous documentation that combustion does occur, at least in a very small way. So it all depends on how exactly the ruling goes down on where the threshold for combustion is, and that is what this is completely going to boil down to, guys. There's a lot of legal jargon here where the Exhibit J has been presented with the FDA scientific review, but it's important to remember that Philip Morris got in touch with the FDA in an attempt to get the FDA to rule and go on their side of things, and that isn't exactly what the court case is about. It's not the FDA's job to rule on whether a patent has been violated. They can only rule on the data that they were given, and they were given data that was slightly tainted by Philip Morris. It relies on outdated pleading standards and bad law. So that's essentially trying to go to Cozen O'Connor and say that they're presenting really bad information. That is a no-hoper, really. They're trying, bless them, but I really don't think that this is going to get any sort of traction at all. Now, if we go on further down, there's all sorts of legal talk, which is exactly the usual case with this side of things, and you can see that essentially Philip Morris is saying that HCMC is taking unreasonable steps and unreasonable information, presenting this to try and win the court case. But a 97% reduction in gases associated with combustion is tantamount to an admission that a minimal amount of combustion must be occurring, which is the case in my humble opinion. But obviously Philip Morris is rebuttaling that because they don't want there to be any evidence of any combustion taking place at all. But we all genuinely believe that combustion does take place, at least in a little way. It might be called tobacco warming rather than tobacco burning, but still some smoke and some tobacco is burned. So therefore, in my opinion, combustion definitely takes place, and a lot of everybody else's does. So and they also argue that an essential ingredient is missing from HCMC's repeated but vague assertions that an alleged claim construction dispute regarding the meaning of combustion or any factual disagreement to what combustion means. Now I'm going to move on in a second to show you exactly what combustion means by definition. Now another thing to look at is back up on page 13, they actually spelt combustion wrong in their court case. In the documents that they've submitted to the court, they've called it combustion there, so that's a little bit of a professionalism side of things there. But if we scroll down to the conclusion now, it is very, very weak, to be fair. You can see that they've implausibly said there that they haven't infringed the patent, but we know that they have. Yeah, and basically, in conclusion, they respectfully request that the court essentially dismisses HCMC's claim. But we know that that certainly isn't going to be the case. I think this will go to full settlement or full trial, and that's about as far as we're going to get. So, if I move on to everything else that I spoke about in the introduction, we can see some serious price action in HCMC occurred. On Friday last week, on the 16th of April, bouncing up to 0.0116, a 33% increase on the day. Then we've got some residue. So these are definitions that are going to be key in the court case. So you've got a substance, residue happens, and that's what Philip Morris is basing its defence on. But then in the definition of residue, a substance that remains after a process such as combustion, which is noticed here by Sean Marshall. And then you can say in the IQOS tool, is there still some combustion? That's on Philip Morris's own page, IQOS cleaning instructions. If there is residue from the combustion, then that must be wiped, and therefore combustion has taken place. Philip Morris is stacking its future on heat not burn products and has already sunk 8.1 billion. So they're not going to want to go back on this. IQOS is now being sold in 64 countries with an estimated 17.6 million users. Thank you to Vader at Triumph on Twitter for this one. But key thing to remember is it is heat not burn, but some combustion and burning does take place, and this is a massive revenue stream for this company in the future. So they're going to want to keep hold of this. So they will definitely either pay out or establish some sort of royalty revenue sharing scheme. Moving on to the next thing I wanted to talk about, dated 15 hours ago by Mark in Texas, a HCMC short squeeze could be available on Monday. There is a lot of people already behind this on the slightly lesser known HCMC page, it has to be said, but there's still an awful lot of people that are wanting to make this date absolutely famous, and this share price could absolutely rocket. You can see this other people talking about $1 to $5 a share if they use the cash from the court case to buy back shares. There's all sorts of other platforms available like Wall Street Bets talking about this. Remember, you are the owners of this company. And then next up it is scientists describe problems with Philip Morris's e-cigarettes experiment. So you can see the IQOS device in here now, and former employees are coming forward stating that there has been problems with Philip Morris's IQOS program. So there is another good reason why Philip Morris will want this to go to settlement rather than going into a full court case, because they don't want the skeletons in the closet airing their dirty laundry online out there in an actual court case, because that could end up costing this company even more money or discredit the organisation. So if anything like that sort of happens, it's easier to just pay it and make it go quiet essentially. And the FDA is already evaluating the company's studies in the IQOS area, so this has to be taken into account of. And you can see, like obviously here, Philip Morris International's Tech Insights, you can see their own IQOS side of things there. But it's well worth acknowledging that Philip Morris will want this to stay quiet essentially. They don't want this going and getting even more attention than it already has, especially if they're trying to sort out experiments that haven't gone properly to plan or anything like that. They're going to want to get this sorted as quickly as they possibly can and as quietly as they can as well, so they can get back to doing business. So guys, that's all I have for you today, guys. There will be more people that have gone into more depth on the actual legal jargon and the legal ramifications of the court case. But essentially where we are at is Philip Morris is still arguing that the patent is not valid and they want it to be dismissed. But they haven't really presented a great deal of evidence to make that so. They've pretty much said that the legal case doesn't stack up, which any person would do, and that the law being applied, it doesn't apply properly either. And then they're saying that combustion in their product doesn't take place, when that is open to perception and is entirely subjective. HCMC are obviously saying that it does. Philip Morris are obviously going to say that it don't. So it's going to go further, and we're going to find out whether this actually goes to a full court case, or whether Philip Morris will want to make this go away quietly and just start talking with HCMC's lawyers and get a settlement underway, which, based on the experiment side of things that I mentioned at the end there, is something that could be quite likely. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, guys. It'd be absolutely great if you could smash that like button, consider subscribing to my channel, and hopefully I'll see you in either another HCMC stock episode or another investing episode. See you later.